Can you start off and introduce yourself to our site?
Hi, I'm Vernon Reid, the guitarist of Living Color.
Thank you so much for joining me. How are you enjoying Rock on the Range so far? It's early.
I am. There's a kind of random chaos around here that I find delightful. That's Will Calhoun, our drummer, walking by.
I heard you guys are at work on a new album. What can you share with me about it?
We're past the halfway point. We're in the last third, and
He's a liar. Trust this guy with your life. Liar.
see,
Pathological.
Everything he says is in code.
what
Can't
more?
win. He
What,
can't win.
what more can I say? Yeah, we're going into the final stage. We're going to be done by the end of June.
So can you take me inside the studio and tell me what the mindset was like, one or two tracks in particular?
Well, tonight we're going to do, there are probably two cover songs that are going to be on the record, and we might play one of them tonight.
That's exciting. Excited.
I'm not going to say what it is.
So everybody's got to get out there and watch the set.
You just got to get out there and see it.
So can you share with me, what would you say is the one thing that's the most misunderstood thing about Living Color?
Okay, one of the most misunderstood things about Living Color is that we're kind of exclusively a political band, and it's more autobiographical. I mean, politics show up because, we choose to integrate politics and social stuff in the way we think about things, but it's just as much about relationships and emotional stuff. Like say an example, like Desperate People from the first record, Vivid, sounds like an anti-drug song, but the thing that inspired Desperate People was the overdose of Jean-Michel Basquiat, the great New York painter, and I had met him, and I went to a party for him, and I ran into him on the street a couple of days afterwards, and he invited me to come to his studio. He said, "Vern, I'm right up the block," and I went away on a tour. I was gone for about 2 or 3 weeks. When I came back home, I got a phone call from my friend Greg Tate, and he said John Michelle had overdosed, and it just crushed me because I didn't know him, but it was like I was about to get to know, like we were about to become friendly and whatever, and really, after I wondered why did I write Desperate People? Why, because I'm not particular. I'm not like a Pollyanna kind of person, but it was an actual event, and that was the song's not exactly about him, but that was what inspired it.
So, how do you feel about, so much music that we hear today, I feel like it doesn't really say anything anymore, and I think that we're missing that, and I think that's what was so awesome about your music, is that it did actually make people think and say, it had something to say.
Well, we're children of a certain era of music that includes, like Crosby, Stills and Nash, 4 Dead in Ohio. Like Kent State happened, and Kent State happened like on a Thursday, and by that Monday, 4 Dead in Ohio was on the radio. Like, that's what we came up under. We came up under bands like Isley Brothers doing Fight the Power. That was part of the soundtrack. So when that was the soundtrack, that affected us, what's going on, all those kind of things, just as much as Black Dog, And now, I tell you what, 9/11 was a weird event, because 9/11 should have inspired a lot of music, for and against it. And because people could volunteer, they didn't have to be, they weren't drafted, it changed the dynamic. When a president says, just go on about your business, go on and shop, it's it's a little weird. You can't be involved in an existential struggle for the existence of the country and also just go shopping, even though shopping is the essence of the country. So, I mean, that's the thing. There's so many great musicians, there's so many wonderful singers and players. And a lot of people are talking about the breakup of the family, about all kinds of other kind of betrayal. So that's all valid. But things are going on. There's that whole thing about Occupy Wall Street. The whole idea that I'm talking about less than 1% own some insane amount of the country's resources.
It's like 80%.
It's insane. So whenever people talk about high taxes, it's funny because there's this idea high taxes taking something away from you, right? But think about somebody that has $1 billion. $1 billion. If you took away half that person's money, they would have $500 million. Do you know what I'm saying? And the fact that people are like, it's an affront. I'm like going, and we're talking about a billionaire is we have a lot of billionaires. So them people that just made the cut, right? So it's kind of crazy, but the mindset is kind of like go for yours. Like whatever happens to you, it's your own fault. And when it's like playing a game with somebody with secret rules, and you only know half the rules that you're playing under. So there's half of the rules that are hidden from you.
Absolutely. I don't think any of us know, except for that one and couple, maybe percent that know something.
You know what I mean? And so that's a part of it too. All of this is happening in a social and political context, all of it. And Living Color, with the diversity of music that we take on, we're talking about, there's a world behind the world, underneath the world. You know what I mean? It's very much like Game of Thrones.
That's a little scary.
We're like the Night Watch, except we have sex.
So how has, we've seen so many changes in the music industry over the years. Which one would you say has had the biggest effect on you today?
Well, all of it's changed so much with downloading. The fact that CD sales are dropping. The nature, what the biggest change is? More than that, it's the nature of what it means to be a fan and what it means to be an artist. Like, what's the responsibilities? The artist's responsibility is as much as possible is to not suck and not waste anyone's time. Real, whatever you're doing, you know what I mean? What's the fans? If you can't be a fan and not support the band. And whatever that means, buy a T-shirt, go to a show. We're at, every artist, all the bands here are at the mercy of strangers. And a fan is a little less of a stranger.
How has the uprise of social media affected that? I feel like the shroud of mystery around rock and roll has been lifted up.
And that's and that's a good thing, kinda. We know.
I think it's hit or miss sometimes.
We know too much about things. Like everybody knows. Like nobody knew. Okay, Ray Harryhausen, right? He's a great. Oh, baby. Oh, you're so sweet. Oh. Ray Harryhausen, the great animator, right? He made these kind of stop motion animation things, and like the Valley of Gwangi. I'm going really down a nerd rabbit hole here. But people kind of didn't know because Ray Harryhausen was a student of Willis O'Brien who animated King Kong. So this was like weird magical stuff. And Ray Harryhausen did the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad and all like this stuff. Now everybody knows about CGI. Everybody knows about CGI, and to the point where if you see something on a movie screen that's different, immediately it becomes incorporated, like bullet time in the Matrix, right? It becomes incorporated. We know so much about everything. We know so much about gossip and rumors and blah blah blah. About it's like, yeah, right. What the, I was talking about CJ. He was talking about the Matrix, and then he just drifted off. That's what I do. That's how I live.
Festivals versus headlining dates, which one do you prefer?
Oh,
I'm sure they're different animals.
everything's got, okay, so the thing about a festival, it's kind of less stress. You kind of just got to hit it, you know? Unless it's a festival that has sound checks, there's a line check, and you just go. It is what it is, or it's not what it's not. Right? It's a kind of weird camaraderie that I like. You know, like
It's like summer camp. Everybody reunites.
summer camp of the damned. It's like Crystal Lake forever.
How has somebody not got that as a festival name yet?
I know, the Crystal Lake Festival.
No, Summer of the Damned.
Summer camp of the damned. I know.
That'd be perfect.
Perfect, right? Like, it's a crazy thing. It's great though. I love it.
Well, I want to thank you so much for taking a few minutes to speak with me. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey.